What's up, MTV? Welcome to my crib. I'm just kidding. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Olivia Jordan, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I look kind of funky, okay? I know, but this is just girl chat, okay? I'm gonna be talking to you guys today about just my modeling journey. I guess we're gonna chit chat and talk all things modeling. I look so crazy. I just got this scarf, you guys, from Free People Movement, and this is my t-shirt that I designed with Claire, so note that, clock that. I'm in New York City right now. I landed on Monday. It is currently Thursday, the 22nd. I landed on the 19th, Monday. And as of now, my plans are to be here until the 30th of next week. And tomorrow, I've been in this beautiful, cute, cozy hotel. You guys see? She's so cute and cozy. I've been here, and yeah, tomorrow I will be moving out and going to a model apartment for the first time in my modeling career. So I might get some timelines and dates wrong, but you get the point. I am signed with Wilhelmina Models here in New York City, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to meet my agents, meet my agency, get my digitals, open my in-town book, test shoot, all the things, but also, you know, listen to God, you know, the Lord. He told me to come here, and I'm here. And you know, when God opens the door, you walk right through it. Doesn't matter if you know what's on the other side or not. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. If you don't know who I am, I guess I forget how paper thin these walls are, so I'm really sorry to my neighbors that they're gonna have to hear my whole story. Okay, so if you're not new here, I guess I should start there. I'm 23 years old, and I have been modeling in the professional modeling industry since I was 18, which is crazy that that's like, what, 5 years ago? I started at 18 years old. Before that, I was actually homeschooled in high school, so I had a lot of free time on my hands. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, I would sit at a desk and attempt to do school for maybe an hour, and then I had the whole entire rest of the day. So while you were sitting at a desk for 8 hours, I was setting up a tripod on a golf course in my backyard, shooting myself in a bikini and putting together outfits to style and like basically shoot these fake magazines. Or not fake, but like I would just basically be a creative director and style myself, and then I would self-shoot myself, and then I would edit all the images and I would post them. And I even had a separate Instagram account where I was posting all of these images, and I was using tons of hashtags because hashtags at the time were like major, and that's how a lot of model scouts were looking for models. And I only learned that at 16 and 17 because I was doing research. So I would like watch all these different YouTube videos about like how to become a model and stuff, and I followed all these different agencies. Like, I would literally look up top agencies in the world, and I would follow all of them on Instagram. I would be very active on all of the posts, and then I would be posting on my Instagram account using hashtags, adding all these people, and eventually I actually got scouted on Instagram by this, at the time, he was a photographer, and he was very reputable. Like, if you went to his account, he had shot and worked for Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, and he also, you could find him on models.com, which, if you don't know what models.com is, it's a reputable website for models. It's literally called models.com. You can look up photographers on there for to make sure that they're reputable. Agencies, if you ever want to know if agencies a scam or not, look them up on models.com, and if they're not there, it's probably more likely that they're a scam. But this photographer reached out to me. Yeah, it was like basically history from there. He at the time was a co-owner with another agent for a mother agency, and there's a different, so the difference in like an agency and a mother agency is, a mother agency is basically a modeling agency where those agents work one-on-one with you to help you get signed to actual agencies. And in my experience, that was actually great because I didn't know a lot about the industry. I didn't know how to get into it, how to negotiate, what was gonna work, what model markets were. I mean, I didn't even have a model vocabulary. And so I signed with them when I turned 18. I also moved out at 18, so my 18th year of life was crazy. I always talk about this because it was such a pivotal year of my life. And so I signed at 18, moved out at 18, and I also got married at 18, so that's like a whole other story. But yeah, I then, towards the end of my 18th year of life, I got on a plane for the first time in my life, and I flew to Milan, Italy to live there for 3 months and work in Milan, Italy. My mother agency at the time got me signed with a very boutique agency in Milan, Italy, and a boutique agency just means that it's small. You know, if you think about modeling agencies, you think about IMG Models, you think about Wilhelmina, you think about all these major big time agencies, but then there's these smaller agencies that are just considered boutique agencies. So I signed with them in Italy. I was working there for 3 months and it was amazing. It's really where, like, in my whole life up until that point of signing with a mother agency and a modeling agency, I was working in retail, and like even in retail, I had the opportunity to kind of do like retail boutique modeling, and there were a few boutiques in my local area when I was younger that would reach out to me and I would like model for, but you know, it wasn't professional modeling. That's why I say that my professional modeling career started at 18 when I got signed with an actual mother agency and modeling agency, and I went to Italy. But I had always been modeling. That was always in me, you know what I mean? Like I was always gonna be a model somehow. Like I was gonna make that happen, because if you ask my mom, like since I was a little girl, I've been in heels. I was like literally known to be changing 15 times throughout a day. Like you can ask my mom, like I changed my outfit so many times a day. I put that woman through hell. Like she had so much laundry. She had so much laundry to do because of me. But I've always loved the fashion industry and naturally loved getting dressed up, and like that's literally what I do now. Yeah, back to Italy. I just had the opportunity to work with a bunch of photographers. I started to kind of build that model vocabulary. I started to really build my professional portfolio with actual images. I worked for Revlon while I was over there, which was like the first major thing that I did, and it's so, wow, it's actually so crazy. I'm gonna put the pictures on the screen here, but these images from Revlon when I was 18 years old were literally on 5th Avenue, which is just crazy, like in New York City. And I had never been to New York City at that time, and there was no way I could have even gotten here. It just wasn't in the books for me. But I just, it's so full circle to be sitting here now, signed with like a top agency in the world. And I just walked down 5th Avenue all day today, you know, and like I've already had my face there. And yeah, that's wild. So Italy was amazing. And then when I came back from Italy, I continued to just kind of try and model. So my mother agency at the time, they helped me get signed with Select Atlanta, which actually, I think I was signed with Select Atlanta before I went to Italy, but I never did any work with them. Like I was just like signed and I was on their website, but nothing actually really came from that until I came back from Italy and I started to really focus more on being in the US. But even not really. Like I went to Miami for a little bit because I signed with Select Miami through that mother agency. And I went to Miami for a week with my sister and my mom, and yeah, we like met my agency, took some digitals, all the things, but still nothing really came from that. Like I didn't really book any jobs then, as far as I can remember. And then it was 2023 when the same mother agency helped me get signed with Castaway Models in Bali, Indonesia. And honestly, the way that happened for me was like that was a whole thing. Like, I mean, I could do an entire story time on just how I got signed in Bali, like how I traveled there, what that looked like for me, and then my experience. But I signed with Castaway Models in Bali, Indonesia, and I moved there for 3 months and I worked my butt off. The highlight of that part of my model experience was literally closing a private Bulgari runway show in Uluwatu, and I was wearing a $50 million emerald on my neck, and it was just like, I have chills talking about it right now because it was just, as materialistic as that sounds, it was very, very like, it was just a big moment for me spiritually. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I grew so much closer to God on that trip and just saw him work in so many different ways in my life. And it's kind of like just me doing that show and it being one of the world-renowned like freaking maisons, right? Bulgari, like that is like, it's just ridiculous. But it being a private show and me not even really getting any images from it, but then it also being such a major thing and like me wearing a $50 million necklace, like it just really was like the Lord showing me like my self-worth, if that makes sense. in a way, like not because I was gonna post Bulgari and it was gonna go viral because it didn't, or because it was Bulgari or anything with money or material things, but it was just like me walking as royalty, like literally as a daughter of God, right? And I was just like walking with this necklace on. It was just amazing. And then I came back from that, and all of 2024 and 2025 was really just me growing my social media. I didn't even plan for that to happen, but that's just kind of how it happened. I'm based in a beach town in North Carolina, so I'm not in like a major, I don't live in a major model market, which basically just means like a city where there's a bunch of modeling happening. New York, LA, London, Paris, Milan, all those are like model markets. And where I live, we don't have a model market. However, thankfully, I was able to book a lot of direct bookings while living in my little beach town, and I still got to work a lot in 2024 and 2025. I traveled so much. I came to New York, I came to the Catskills, I went to Minnesota, I did a lot of work in Atlanta with this one reoccurring client, and it was just so much fun. And yeah, like while I was doing these direct bookings, which model vocabulary, direct booking is just when you get paid to travel somewhere for a client, and they pay for your travel, they pay for your stay, and they're also paying for you to model, and they're just booking you directly. Like even if you're not living, like let's say New York, there's a client in New York that wants to book me and I'm in North Carolina, like a direct booking would be them directly booking me from North Carolina and bringing me to them, if that makes sense. But yeah, I still was able to model a lot in 2024 and 2025, but I also at the same time was growing my social media, which is why I'm here with you guys today. So be very grateful for that, because that's how I'm here right now, because I grew that, and I didn't even mean for that to happen, but that's just why you literally follow God and you yield to him, because you never know what's around the corner or what he needs you to keep growing and building for your future self that you don't even know that you need to be growing. So yeah, I kept working with my agency in Atlanta, and I kept working with my agency in, well actually not really Miami, but mainly Atlanta, Select Atlanta. I'm signed with Select Atlanta and Select Miami, and I really just kept working with my Select Atlanta agency, and they really carried me through 24 and 2025. Like I just booked a bunch of direct bookings while still living in my little beach town, and I just grew so much from that. Like even like the majority of my book right now is a lot of work that I did in those 2 years. And then yeah, so let's just talk about, let's like fast forward to where I am now. I am in New York City with Wilhelmina Models, and let's talk about how I got here. So in 2024, I got invited to the Victoria's Secret fashion show as a guest, which was just, that was crazy, because my dream model client is Victoria's Secret. I'll never forget, like growing up, all of us, right, like all of us girls watched the Victoria's Secret fashion show. There's nothing like unique about me with that, but like my godmother, she had Victoria's Secret thongs, and I remember like the first time I learned what a thong was, she showed them to me, and she would like literally, even like, you can say it's TMI if you want, but she would like give us her old underwear that was like Victoria's Secret and her old Victoria's Secret swimwear, and she basically told me about the VS show, and then that sparked curiosity, and I remember looking up the VS shows and just being like, wow, like I feel something here. And so anyways, I got invited to the show in 2024, and it was just a wild experience. I could do a whole story time on that, but that was, I feel like I'm being so loud. I feel like I'm being so loud. I have a really loud voice, and I know that they're hearing everything. I just feel so bad. But I went to the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and I was in New York City for a week with Victoria's Secret. Basically, they flew me out, which was just crazy. Literally flew me out, put me in a hotel. They paid for all my Ubers, all my food. It was just a luxury experience. They really know how to take care of their people. If I actually had this vlog posted, if you want to go watch that, I'll try to remember to link it in the description, or you can just go to my page and look for my Victoria's Secret vlog. But I literally vlogged that trip. And it's kind of funny because my New York vlogs right now, like the girl I was hanging out with then is literally in my New York vlogs now. But that was 2 years ago. So when I was on that, the reason I'm bringing up this trip with Victoria's Secret is because when I was on that trip, I switched from my initial mother agent that I signed with when I was 18 to Select Atlanta as my mother agency. And Select Atlanta thought that it would be a really good and productive idea if I went and did go-sees in New York after the Victoria's Secret show, since I was already gonna be in New York City. So my agent, one of my agents from Atlanta, came down. She flew to be with me in New York after the VS show, and we went and we literally met with every single top agency in New York almost. I literally have said that there's probably like less than a handful of agencies that we didn't see. Like, we saw so many agencies. I met with IMG, I met with DNA Models, I met with Maryland's, like I met with all of these different agencies in person, and we had a meeting with the team. And the one agency, one of the agencies that was in the handful of agencies that I did not go see was literally Wilhelmina Models. I didn't get a chance to go see them. And so when I went back to my beach town home and was waiting for my agent to update me if I got signed with anyone in New York, she literally would call me and text me every single day and tell me that every agency said no. She would tell me like, nope, this one said no, this one said no. And I started getting so discouraged. Oh my gosh, my battery is literally gonna die. I might have to come back to you guys. Okay guys, sorry. There's like a slight, I had to go charge my camera. And so now I look just a little bit different. I'm pimple patched up with Hello Kitty, and my hair is drying for curly hair. Anyways, back right into what I was saying. Also, this is what you get here, okay? This isn't like, this is just girlhood, okay? There's no need for me to be in makeup with the exact same hair in the exact spot, you know what I mean? Okay, so I left off where I was just basically saying that every single agency in New York that I went to go and meet with said no, and my agent was messaging me every single day when I got back to Wilmington to tell me that each one said no, and I was so discouraged. But this is why you cannot lose faith or be discouraged when things don't seem to be going the way that you think that they should, and you just have to stick to what God initially told you in the beginning. And so I just was getting discouraged, and then randomly she messaged me and said that Wilhelmina wanted to do a Zoom call with me, and as much as I can remember, I did the Zoom call with them, and it was history. Like, I literally signed the contract the next day with them. And again, this was the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025. It was crazy, but all of 2025 was literally me just doing social media and doing my typical bookings that I was getting out of my Select Atlanta agency. And I wasn't like pressed. Like, I don't force anything to happen. I do not believe in forcing doors open. And so even though it didn't make sense and I signed with them at the beginning of 2025 and I was not working throughout 2025 with Wilhelmina, I knew that there would come a time when a door would open. And so I just trusted God, and then literally that's just where we are now. If you guys saw my Atlanta vlog from a few videos back, I went to Atlanta I got to bring my husband on the first model job of 2026, and my management, who is, you know, Atlanta, was just encouraging me at a meeting after our job that I need to go, and it was just so fast. I was literally in the office and sat down with one of my agents, and she just started booking everything. We booked the hotel, we booked my flight, and I had been emailing back and forth with one of the agents at Wilhelmina about coming into town, and they just thought it would be best if I came in and met everyone in person again. And so that's what this trip is. And all I can say is that I'm in a similar spot as I was when I was here in New York at the end of 2024 after the VS show, and I was going and I was meeting with all of these different agencies, and that position is just not knowing what is beyond the river bend, like whatever that Pocahontas song is. I'm like hearing that in my brain. Yeah, I don't really know what this holds, but that is kind of like my journey up until this point. And again, I just have to reiterate, like, when I was 16 and 17 and I started realizing that I loved fashion and I loved the world of modeling, which at the time I didn't even know what that meant. I just knew I loved clothes. I knew I loved photographing clothes, and I knew that I loved wearing them and posing in them. Like, I probably even did, I think I did submit to Wilhelmina at 16 and 17. And I got told, like, I mean, I got no responses, you know what I mean, obviously. And then if you even look at my journey into like how I got scouted on Instagram, it's just like every single thing happened the way that it was supposed to, and my journey has been so unique, but every model's journey is, and every human's journey is in this life. And so yeah, that's just like a little bit about my story and like how I got where I am now. I'm really hopeful and really excited for this year with Wilhelmina and with Select and just anything else. Like anything can happen. I could literally go overseas out of nowhere. Like I had to scoot back, but that's like one of my things about this industry is that you don't really know what is gonna happen next, and you can plan as much as you want, but you never know what's gonna happen. You never know when you're gonna get booked, if you're gonna get booked, where you're gonna be, what state or country you're gonna be in. And at any moment in time, like I could literally get an email from my agent, probably not right now because it's the middle of the night, but like I could get an email from her in the morning and be booked for some incredible wild job, you know, overseas. And I would have had no idea. And I feel like a career path like this just makes so much sense for me, because this is just how I live my life with God, you know what I mean? And it's just like this beautiful journey. I really quickly, like I remember when I was talking to my first mother agent, like the one in the beginning of the story, and I was talking to him about wanting to go to Bali, Indonesia, because my mom, super long story short, was following some girl on Instagram who was signed with that agency in Bali. And so my mom sent it to me and she was like, you should try to go here. And I remember being so just like nervous because I knew that that was attainable. And I don't know, it was just kind of like my spirit could feel that I was destined to be there, and it kind of scared me, especially because Bali, Indonesia is like literally around the entire globe. Like it was a 36-hour plus like trip to get there. But I sent the agency to my agent on DMs. I literally forwarded the message to him and was like, hey, what do you think about this place? And he was like, I'll reach out. So he reached out to the owner and he set up a Zoom call with me to do with her. And I sent my digitals in and everything. And I remember that he confirmed me. He was like, they want you, like they would love to have you there. And I was still so nervous, you guys. Like one thing about being in the modeling industry is that I have had to learn to be okay with like getting out of my absolute comfort zone, because I was just telling my mom this earlier, I'm such a homebody. I'm such a person, like a creature of habit, and I love to be comfortable, which is like, I feel like most people wouldn't think that because I do travel all the time, but like it takes a lot in me to get there. Do you know what I mean? Like even coming here, you could like I was talking to my husband about it. There were so many times I was like, wait, I actually don't want to go. Like I genuinely don't want to go, but I don't even know where I'm like going with this. You guys have to try and follow with me. But anyways, like back to the Bali thing. I asked God when I got confirmed from my agent that like they sent me the contract and everything. I was like, God, if I'm supposed to do this, I need you to make it so clear to me. Like I need you to just do something supernatural and make it so clear to me. And I remember I went to sleep that night. I hadn't signed the contract, and the next morning, and like this at the time, this was not a thing that happened, but I woke up and it was like, you know when you're coming out of a dream and you're kind of like realizing that you're in a dream but you're coming out of a dream? I was singing the song Pure Imagination from like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. And then the whole morning after I woke up, I was just like continuing to sing the song. And then I started to recognize that this was an odd thing. And I looked up the lyrics of the song, which I like knew from my childhood, but I didn't know the actual lyrics. And it was literally just like, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. And it just goes on. And it was just like this invitation to go. And I don't know, like sometimes you have to be like the person in the moment to really feel and understand what confirmation feels like. But for me, I just knew that like it was like everything clicked. And as scared as I was, I signed the contract and I went to Bali. So just a little spiel about my Bali, like how I got to Bali and like how God confirmed that for me. But being in the industry is literally that story for me. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I learned to rely on God and depend on him a lot more. And again, like this is just my personal journey. Like I feel like if you have a 9-to-5 or if you're chasing like or not chasing, but if you're going after a different dream that's not in the entertainment industry and you're not trying to be a model, like he can show up in so many different ways. But yeah, so I feel like this was a pretty good like get to know me a little bit, and like a good story time of like how I became a model and like how I got here. But yeah, I'd like to say that like if you're watching this and you are an aspiring model, or this is inspiring you for the path, the career path that you're taking, and it looks like I might have everything, you know what I mean? I don't. Like, just remember that I don't. Like, there are so many, I really don't. Like, I really am not, I don't know how to explain this, but I don't have everything, and I'm still figuring everything out day by day. And it's a journey, you know, and so you just have to yield to the journey, and you have to be willing to take risks and take that step of faith. So yeah, I hope that this like helped you guys get to know me and my journey a little bit more. And if you have any modeling questions, this is like, I get so many DMs on TikTok and Instagram, and really have gotten them like over the last 4 years of me doing this professionally about modeling, and I really need to like compile them all together and do a model Q&A where I like answer my questions about it, because it is obviously such a big part of my life and I do get so many questions about it all the time. So definitely like don't hesitate to comment or reach out to me. I really do need to get all those like questions, all the ones I can from the last year and years together, so I can answer them for you. But I just like want to be of help to anybody in this industry, and then also just like in general, you know, like again, not everyone that follows me is a model or even wants to be a model. Some people are just like curious about it and they enjoy watching people like talk about it, kind of like me. Like I like to watch people that have other careers that I don't have or care to strive to have, but it's just entertaining. So yeah, but I want to be of help in any way I can, and always the goal is always to inspire, which is funny because I'm literally wearing my t-shirt and I'm not even selling these right now, so this isn't like a plug, but it says Live Inspired, because you guys know my name is Liv and I go by, well, my name's Olivia, but I go by Liv. And my whole mission, you guys, always on my channel here on YouTube, on all of my platforms, this little corner of the internet that is my brand universe, Liv Jordan, is all about living inspired and having heaven's perspective. Like just literally, I want to inspire and I want to be inspired the same way that you do. So live inspired, I guess. I think that's everything. I hope that this was fun to watch. I don't know. And subscribe. I don't even know when this is going to be posted or what's up already, but I hope you guys are enjoying the New York vlogs, and I also can't wait to be back at home in Wilmington and, you know, all the things. Okay, I gotta go. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye.